Hi, I decided to do my activist presentation on Betty Williams. So first, I'm just going to start with a little overview on Betty's life. Betty Williams was a peace activist who, with the help of Mary Corrigan, founded a movement called Peace People. Peace People was dedicated to ending sectarian strife in Northern Ireland.
It's no longer a question of violence or non-violence, it's now a question of non-violence or non-existence. Violence is a choice. Goodness is the decision. I find myself a lot of times being very, very angry. When I see children getting hurt, when I think of $930 billion every year being spent on arms and ammunition and better ways to destroy each other, and yet we have the capability, if we're honest with the children, to turn their lives completely around. Sometimes you have to have a dream, and I have a deep dream. You want to see every child safe. I want to see the children protected from the outside world. So this is not just a dream, it's a goal. I believe that we can secure children against government aggression. And it's that deep, deep belief that keeps us all going.
So, her life as a child. Betty was born on May 22nd, 1943, in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Betty had a Protestant father who was a butcher and a Catholic mother who was a housewife. Her family background, from which Williams later said she derived religious tolerance and a breadth of vision that motivated her to work for peace, was rare for the times. She was the oldest child of her parents and had a younger sister named Maggie. She attended St. Teresa Primary School for elementary, and then she went to St. Dominic's School for her secondary education. Growing up, she developed a sympathy for the Irish Republican Army. However, her compassion for humans did not allow her to be blinded by the cruel acts committed by them. Once she saw an injured British soldier and helped him. This made her Catholic neighbors angry that she had helped the enemy. While growing up, she lost two of her cousins, and this greatly affected her. One of her cousins was gunned down by Protestant extremists in front of his house, and another one of her cousins was lost by a booby-trapped car done by Catholic extremists. When Betty was 13, her mother had a stroke and became incapacitated, so she became responsible for her sister while keeping up with school. Life after childhood. After completing her formal education, she began working as a receptionist at an office in Belfast. In 1961, she got married to Ralph Williams, and later in life she gave birth to a son, Paul, and birth to her daughter, Deborah. Ralph and Betty eventually divorced, and she remarried James T. Perkins. He was an educator, and the two of them moved to Florida in 1982. Early in the 1970s, she joined an anti-violence campaign headed by a Protestant priest. She passed away on March 17, 2020 from pneumonia, and she was only 76 years old. On August 10, 1976, Betty witnessed an Irish Republican Army gunman swerve his car onto a pavement, killing 3 children from one family and seriously injuring their mother. Their mother later took her own life. Shocked by what she had just saw, Miss Williams organized a petition to protest the continuing violence. She was so moved by the incident that within 2 days of the tragic event, she had obtained over 6,000 signatures on a petition for peace and gained wide media attention. A few days later, she joined Mary Corrigan to form a mass protest movement. This movement was initially known as Peace Women and later called the Peace People. The troubles of violence between Roman Catholic, Republican militias and soldiers and police forces defending Northern Ireland's membership in the United Kingdom lasted 22 years. The Peace People were the first sign of mass public resistance to military violence in Northern Ireland, uniting members of the Catholic and Protestant communities. Many people even believe that it contributed to a reduction in the number of killings in Northern Ireland after 1976. Williams soon organized a peace march to the graves of the slain children, which was attended by 10,000 Protestant and Catholic women. However, the peaceful march was violently disrupted by members of the IRA who accused them of being dupes of the British. The following week, William led another march that concluded successfully without any disruptions, this time with 20,000 participants. There were disagreements among the three leaders of Peace People over strategy and funding, and since the late 1970s, the organization has had little presence in Northern Ireland. Miss Williams and Miss Corrigan were jointly awarded the Nobel Prize in 1976. In her acceptance speech, Betty said the death of those four people on August 10th caused the frustration to explode and create the possibility of a real peace movement. The Peace Prize money was divided equally between Williams and Corrigan. Williams kept her share of the money, stating that her intention was to use it to promote peace beyond Ireland, but faced criticism for her decision. In 1978, Williams broke off links with the Peace People movement and became an activist for peace in other areas around the world. In 2006, she joined Corrigan and 5 other women and founded the Noble Women's Initiative. She then served as a president of the World Center of Compassion for Children. Their mission is to provide a strong political voice for children in areas afflicted by war, hunger, social, economic, or political disruption. These women, representing North and South America, the Middle East, Europe, and Africa, brought together their experiences in a united effort for peace with justice and equality. Betty also received many other awards. Williams received the People Peace Prize of Norway in 1976, the Schweitzer Medallion for Courage, the Martin Luther King Jr. Award, the Eleanor Roosevelt Award in 1984, and the Franklin Foundation Child Care International Oliver Award. In 1995, she was awarded the Rotary Club International Paul Harris Fellowship and the Together for Peace Building Award. Betty's biggest belief is there should be peace in everyone's life. Here are a few more of her beliefs from her acceptance speech after being awarded the Nobel Prize. We are for life and creation. We are against war and destruction, and in our rage we scream that violence has to stop. We dedicate ourselves to working with our neighbors, near and far, day in and day out, to building that peaceful society in which the tragedies we have known are a bad memory and a continuing warning. We reject the use of the bomb and the bullet and all the techniques of violence. We want to live and love and build a just and peace society.
I'm really excited about this one, and it's a long time since I've been excited about joining a program. But you must remember, I've worked with these laureates before. President Arias over the years has become a dear friend, and I worked with him on the disarmament issues. Mohammed Yunus on the banking issue, and my beloved Arab sister. And we're from 4 completely different areas of the world, but each of us individually has handled situations of violence in exactly the same way, combating it with non-violence. Every single one of us has achieved that. You know, we talk about peace as though it's something that's just going to fall out of the sky. That is so completely illogical. Before you can make a peaceful world, number one, we have to have a world that has much more justice in it. The banking systems, the weather programs, the things that are happening in our world which are destroying us. Those real issues can be tackled on a daily basis, but there's no fix. We can fix it immediately. We've got to change our world. And part of this new development with the FAO, I want so badly to have a really strong, working, passionate, involved association that will move things. I'm not going to be sitting at the FAO like a dumb old lady. We've got to come together now in one joint voice. One of the greatest negotiators I've ever sat at a table with has been President Darius. He's a consummate gentleman. His intellect is superb, and there's no greater man in the world to lead something like this. I would like him to be in charge, maybe just because of the fact he's disarmed 4 countries, you know. He has that on his record. And so I think we're going to be great together. I really do, because I have such deep respect for Professor Eunice as well. You know, he makes millionaires out of beggars, you know. He entrepreneurs with €15 or $15. I mean, he showed by example that can be done.